This is my instant match reaction to the Tottenham Hotspur 3, Chelsea 4 Premier League defeat at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And as you can probably hear from my voice, I'm just so my malaise is so strong because I'm just not surprised. Tottenham got 3 more injuries in the game. Both Romero and Van de Ven and Johnson all went off. We were 2-0 up at the beginning of the game. It's just the most you can't write this stuff. You know, like this is only Tottenham can do this stuff. And of course, Sky are cutting to Daniel Levy, and he will have his trigger finger itching right now. He will be wondering whether he should sack Ange Postecoglou, because he'll be seeing that top 4 is more or less gone. We're still in the cup competitions. Is there a possibility to try and get someone in to change it around? But I just don't look out there and think there really is. And I have to say, time and time again now in the Premier League, we are being out-tacticked by other managers. Maresca gave us a lesson today, especially in the second half. You know, first 10, 15 minutes, we were all over them. 2-0, maybe we needed a third. But even if we'd got a third, I think we still would have lost the game. And Chelsea just in the second half absolutely dominated Tottenham. Absolutely dominated Spurs. And we got what we deserved. And in the end, you know, Sonny scores a third for Spurs with one of the last kicks of the game. We nearly make a chance to make it 4-4, but it wouldn't have been deserved. It wouldn't have been anything that Tottenham Hotspur deserved from that game. And time again, this team show that when adversity comes, they fall on the floor. Yves Bissouma. I'm going to start just with Yves Bissouma. I've said this all season and pretty much throughout his entire Spurs career. Yves Bissouma can do the hard things so brilliantly. But when it comes to the easy things, he's an idiot. Like, he's a complete idiot. And I'll give you the perfect example. The penalty he gave away. He had intercepted a ball on the halfway line, and all he has to do is play an easy 5-yard ball to someone. But instead, he tries to take it around a man. He loses the ball. They run at our back line, and we end up somehow getting bodies in the way. And then from nowhere, Bissouma comes sprinting into the box and takes out their player, and it's a penalty. And they equalise. How is Big Ange supposed to account for that? I mean, you can say, well, don't play him. All right, play Rodrigo Bentancur. Oh, no, you can't, because Rodrigo Bentancur decided to be racist in the summer about Son Heung-min, so he's out. Like, you can't account for this stuff. And yeah, there are lots of things that Ange isn't getting right at the moment, but also maybe this is just the reality of having a young squad, that they're just making idiotic mistakes all the time and not able to fight back when adversity calls. But it's just an ugly time to be a Spurs fan. It feels very much like end of days. It feels very much like it did when, you know, Sherwood was there and we lost a few on the spin and he came out fighting, saying how Tottenham didn't have the minerals for it. And when Conte had his rant at Southampton. It feels like that again. And you would not be surprised, would you? But what does he do? Sack him and bring in Ryan Mason? It's not Ange's fault. And I know a lot of you will say it. And the reality is things do trickle down from the top. So, you know, the mentality of the club does trickle down from the top. And it does. And I agree with that. But we're not getting rid of Daniel Levy. He owns the club. He literally owns the club. He is a shareholder in the club, one of the majority shareholders. So we're not getting rid of him. So all that's going to potentially happen, realistically, is Levy's going to sack Ange, bring in Ryan Mason. And for what? I don't know. In terms of the game, I'll talk you through it briefly. First minute, we won the ball up high. We were good in the first 15, 20 minutes, pressing really high, winning the ball up. Johnson had a shot blocked, free header from a corner then for Chelsea in the 3rd minute. Solanke scores to make it 1-0. Beautiful cross from Brennan Johnson, who then later got injured. And Solanke with a perfect bit of number 9 work, getting across his marker, and a great volley on the half volley. Sorry, great finish on the half volley. Then Romero gets injured in the 6th minute, but in classic Romero style, tries to stay on the pitch. Spurs were doing some good pressing in that first 10 minutes, especially against Sanchez, and Deki Kulusevski makes it 2-0 in the 10th minute. Should have had a third maybe in the 12th minute, but Udogie hit it wide, although it probably would have been offside anyway. Then 5 minutes after his injury, Romero finally goes off. Dragusin comes on. Sancho makes it 2-1 in the 17th minute. For me, Brennan Johnson didn't work hard enough to help out Pedro Porro on the right. He just didn't work hard enough. And as a result, Sancho gets his shot off, and it's a great shot in off the far post. Then Chelsea really started to get in control. Sancho got in down the left with bad final ball. Then Kulusevski gets Lavia booked in central midfield, and Palmer has an air shot, which he really should have scored from 8 yards out. That was in the 20th minute. So much going on, just a classic Chelsea game at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Sarr got booked in the 29th minute. Then Fraser Forster had another great game. 2 huge saves after half an hour. One from Palmer and then from the rebound from Pedro Neto. Caicedo, this is maybe like the really key part of the game. 32nd minute. Caicedo does the exact same challenge that Christian Romero did in last year's game against Chelsea. The exact same, over the top of the ball, into the ankle with force. Doesn't even get booked. Doesn't get sent off. VAR look at it, say no excessive force. That is the turning point in the game, in the same way of the turning point in the game where Lucic should have been sent off against Fulham. So refereeing going against us, and that's what happens when things are bad and your confidence is low and the manager's under pressure. The refereeing starts going against you as well. Everything does, and we're right in that moment at the moment. 33rd minute, Sarr hit the bar from a header from a Sonny corner. Again, things not going for us. Solanke missed a great chance from a Sonny cutback in the 34th minute, but couldn't get his feet sorted out. And that came from yet another terrible kick from Sanchez, from us pressing him. Then Nicholas Jackson had a one-on-one in the 40th minute. Dragusin did amazingly. He had a good game as well, Dragusin, and that he tackled it out for a corner. And then that was kind of half-time. Second half, Chelsea just came out, absolutely battered us. I'm sorry. Let me know if you think any differently in the comments, but Chelsea absolutely battered us. 48th minute, a huge save from Fraser Forster from Jadon Sancho. Big reflex hand to his left from the inside left position. And then from the corner, Jackson had a free header, gets it wide. 50th minute, Spurs are in down the right. Kulusevski, see what he's trying to do. He tries to play it with the outside of his left foot into Solanke. But because that's quite a high percentage pass, it goes straight to Sanchez. And that was actually a better chance than you'd think. And then Chelsea nearly scored straight from that break. A shot from Enzo went just wide. Brennan Johnson goes off injured in the 51st minute. Werner comes on. Werner, I'm afraid, appalling again today. Absolutely appalling when he came on. Forster then tipped a long shot wide from Gusto in the 56th minute. Chelsea absolutely on top. Solanke got a great block in when they were in down the right, get to the byline, and Solanke really did brilliantly to block that. Otherwise, it would have been an absolute goal, without a doubt. Basuma in the 58th minute did what he did for the penalty. His mistake leading to their attack and then just sliding in and taking out the player. 2-2, Palmer scores the penalty, sending Forster the wrong way. 67th minute, and Spurs had their best chance. Should have made it 3-2. Son Heung-min one-on-one. Would have been a controversial one because Udogie was definitely offside and interfering with play, but the ref didn't call it back. And Son basically has a one-on-one from the inside left position and hits it wide. And that, for me, I'm sorry, it just shows that Sonny is slightly off it at the moment. He's lost something because his finishing was always what he was absolutely elite at, but that's gone as well at the moment. 69th minute, Chelsea player kind of being professional, just throwing himself to the ground in the box when we had a chance. That was Colwill. Free header from Van der Ven just behind him from a Porro free kick in the 70th minute. Then Chelsea go 3-2 up in the 73rd minute. Palmer beats about 4 players in the box. Spurs unwilling to tackle him, and the ball breaks to Fernandes, volleys in beautifully. I hate to say it, but it was a great finish. Could have been more, could have been 4-2 in the 76th minute. Great defending from Porro to stop Sancho. Then Van der Ven gets injured in the 77th minute, as if life couldn't get any worse. Sarr then gives away an absolutely ridiculous penalty in the 82nd minute. Palmer dinks it, taking the piss out of us. 4-2. Solanke had a good chance in the 89th minute, blocked. Then Maddison over the bar in added time, and a good save from Sanchez from Sonny. And then Sonny made it 4-3 from the Maddison cutback, but it was too little, too late. And I'm sorry, guys, but I really don't have a lot of positivity to say. I really don't, and I really fear for Big Ange Postecoglou at this point. I fear for him after this game. I think he might get sacked, but I definitely fear for him if he doesn't get sacked before Rangers, and if he loses to Rangers and he loses to Southampton, who we have next in the league, it will be the end of Ange Postecoglou. And just, you know, listening to the co-commentary today from Jamie Carragher, and he's talking about, you know, the same way that they used to talk about Marcelo Bielsa, you know, so beautiful to watch at Leeds, but you can't play that way in the Premier League. Well, I'll tell you this, Jamie Carragher, he didn't play that way today. Tottenham conceded all the possession to Chelsea, and the reality is it was just absolutely woeful decision-making at times from Tottenham. Absolutely appalling. And yeah, it's a young squad, and when it's going well, you're like, it's a young, hungry squad, it's great to watch, but now it's not going well, and it's really hard to see how these results are going to turn around, because even when it went 2-0 up today, I didn't celebrate. because I knew what was coming. We're a Jekyll and Hyde team. We're a basket case team. And there's not a lot going for it. There really wasn't a lot going for it. Chelsea looked dangerous on the transition from the start. And you just didn't fancy that Spurs had what it took mentally to keep it to keep us winning. And that proved to be the case. It's really hard, and it always happens against Chelsea, and Chelsea just laugh at us. Chelsea fans just laugh at us. 3-point lane, all of that stuff, and it's over and over again. And listen, yes, we're in the middle of a painful rebuild. Things are difficult. We are still in the cup competitions. Don't forget, a lot of people said in pre-season, I don't care about the league this season. I just want us to win a cup. The problem I have is, can you really see us getting to a cup semi-final or a cup final and then making good decisions or having the mentality to find ways to win those games? Whenever we go down in games, we don't have what it takes to get it back. We never, ever do. When we face adversity, we crumble. And so it's really, really incredibly difficult for me to see how it's possible that we are going to win a trophy. And therefore, that whole thing of, oh, I don't care what happens in the league this season. Well, not only is that not the case because everybody really does care, but also the reality is this could end up being a really horrible season where we come like 12th or 13th or worse and don't win a trophy. And yeah, really horrible, horrible times. Anyway, that's been my instant match reaction.